Hey, welcome to Life in the Leadership Lane. I'm your host, Bruce Waller, where I'm getting to talk to leaders that are making a difference in the workplace and in our communities. What do they do to get started, and what do they do to continue to accelerate as leaders in that leadership lane? And today, I'm talking to a very special guest as we kick off 2021. I cannot believe we're in the new year.
I think the biggest thing is to be true to yourself.
And it's putting yourself into a situation and being fully there in it.
But if you want all the results that you came here for, you're going to have to fully opt in.
I have a phrase, I always say onward, right? It was onward.
I get so much joy out of watching their journey.
You don't grow on the mountaintops, you grow in the valley.
I think well-being is different for everybody, right?
What is leadership to you?
Leadership to me, it's an action.
So when you're trying to attract talent, are your websites accessible to people who have that visual disability?
I wasn't just filling roles. I was making positive long-term impact on people, right?
The easiest way to connect with somebody is intentionally knowing their name.
But just taking time to say thank you.
She said something along the lines of, we just need a serving heart. And I thought, okay, I can do that.
It's not always going to be a yes. And so it's like, okay, well, it's just a no right now.
One of the foundational pieces that is a must is just giving it the time so that the person trusts you.
How would you define leadership?
Anybody, no matter what their position is, can be a leader for me.
I wanted to grow my network and create my lifeline so that if I
establish myself as the go-to person for HR.
I think if you come from a place of good intent, then people will listen more.
Would be never stop learning. Never underestimate the power of networking. Don't wait until you're ready.
You have to be a good communicator. And you have to be good with people. You have to develop relationships, and that takes time.
You want them to be the best version of themselves.
On empathy, really, how are you doing? And listen, and where can I help? And how can I help? And, can I help?
Getting to know your people. And that starts by something as simple as remembering their names.
It's to ask the question, are you running away from something or are you running towards something?
That. It's not just my willingness to challenge, it's my willingness to be challenged.
Aim small, miss small, right? Like execute in the small areas, and then the bigger stuff will happen. That's what builds the foundation for growth.
That's the only way to grow, is by facing adversity and getting through it.
But if you don't understand the business that you're doing it for, you're never going to be able to make HR function well within that.
So it's worth staying curious just a little bit longer.
The path is not always one that's going to go up. Sometimes you're going to have to go sideways. Sometimes you might have to go down.
What is leadership to you? How would you define it?
For me, that's all it is. It's having that intention and care and courage to do what's right, even when it's hard, and help other people to grow.
Discovery, diagnosis, direction. You really have to show general interest that you're trying to discover and learn.
Thinking about your follow-up strategy and make sure that is the way you want it to be in order to be remembered.
Anybody that's in a leadership or a managing position has got to look at the whole of it all.
If you boil it down to the idea that our thoughts equal our results.
This isn't a bad thing, because we know as HR professionals, unless you're truly engaged in what you're doing, you're not going to be a peak performer. And
I think it's important to find out what works for you. What is something that drives you? What's something
I think leadership is taking responsibility for others around you to make their life better.
What's your sizzle factor, right? What separates you from somebody else?
Real networking is about connection.
To me, it's a partnership, and you have to partner with the right vendors for your company. You got to put yourself out there a little bit. You have to show some vulnerability. You have to take the risk, and you have to speak up.
So I would say to them, this too shall pass, and look in the mirror and tell yourself that it's okay.
A lot. Why do I keep volunteering? Why do I keep serving on the board? Well, it's because I like it.
As long as you are doing something you love, like you said, you will never work a day in your life.
Find things that bring you joy that you want to do now. Don't make excuses that you have time to do that later. Start doing that stuff now.
As a leader of an organization, it gives me some insight into what's important to the people on my team.
I think one of the biggest things is that there's no perfect formula for.
I think it's important for our coaches to be good fathers, good husbands, and good people in the community. If you can do